Hello, welcome back to Car Juice. Today, I'm going to be giving you guys the squeeze on the Genesis GV80 with the 3.5 liter turbo. Genesis is kind of a weird duckling. It's the baby brother, but also the more advanced version of the Hyundai Kia group. So this originally brand started out as kind of like, they had the Hyundai Genesis 2 liter, and then they had the 3.8 liter turbo back in like, I think 2012, 2011. And over the years, Genesis has evolved into its own brand that kind of cannibalizes some of the market from BMW, Acura, and Audi, and all the other luxury brands and that sort of thing, to, you know, kind of cannibalize that market at a less expensive price point. And over the years, they've just gotten better and better. This one basically looks like a baby Bentley. You have adaptive cruise control with a very sneaky little radar sensor integrated right into the front. You also have your top-down 360 cameras, and look at this grille. It's just stately. Like, this is straight up giving like Bentley Continental GT type vibes, except you've got those like split headlights. It's cool. The dark blue color looks great. And on the outside of the car, you have 20-inch wheels wrapped in Michelin Pilot Sports. You also have these massive Genesis calipers. The 3.8 liter turbo back in the, not turbo, the 3.8 liter Genesis Coupe back in the day actually had Brembo brakes, and they've kind of continued that same performance-esque luxury kind of thing. Luxury kind of means performance nowadays, and this car has no slouch in the performance category either, with the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6 making 375 horsepower. It puts it up right into BMW category type power. Let me turn this radio down real quick. You know, also the interior is very, very nice. You've got blue leather on the steering wheel and on the doors, and then the dashboard is all made out of leather as well. And for $55,000, which is what we're listing it at as a pre-owned car, that's a great deal. That's like BMW X3 money for a car that has a lot of really good features. You've got a dual sunroof, which is awesome. Integrated garage door opener and closer right into the mirror with the frameless mirror design that looks really nice. A 27-inch touchscreen, and you know, tons of other creature comforts such as ventilated seats, heated seats, and a heated steering wheel. Yeah, let me show you guys the rest of this, the back of this thing. It's really, really nice. The back seat is perfectly usable, with convenient buttons to actually fold the seats down flat right here on the side. And then you can even, if you're sitting in the back seat, move the front passenger seat up a little bit. Not so great for parents, great if you're getting chauffeured, because I think they're just trying to really, again, kind of go for that upper echelon type client. And then you can even kind of move it back and forth, which I just think is really funny. Definitely could see some kids playing tricks on their parents on road trips with that. In the back seat, you also have a grounded house style plug, the 110 volt outlet, with a regular charger right next to it with 2 USB type A ports. The Genesis did just get upgraded for 2025. They added an additional 5 horsepower, but they kept a lot of the other creature comforts very similar. You also do have, you know, window curtains that go on the side here, so that if you're trying to have privacy, or if you have kids, you're gonna have that extra kind of security in the back of the car, so you're not worried about them if you're going into the grocery store, leaving the car running, or anything like that. The trunk is kind of silly on this thing, but you do have third row seats, so this is almost like a budget X7 kind of deal. Power kick to open and close trunk, but this one has a tow hitch, so it likely doesn't have that feature. And then as far as getting these rear seats up and down, you have this cool little button just to actually adjust the front and third row seats just with a single push of a button. Makes it very easy to kind of live with this car from a day-to-day basis. In the back seat, you still have your own speakers, and you have your own climate controls, so you can still feel very comfortable even if you're sitting in the third row. Yeah, so Genesis GV80 on the outside, I would give this thing like a 9 out of 10. For the money, it's like a 9.5. You do have a 100,000 mile powertrain warranty, which is really cool also. But, you know, you do kind of have, as long as you're okay with driving something that doesn't have that like true luxury brand badge, you do get a lot for your money with this thing. Let's see how it handles on the road. All right, so behind the wheel of the Genesis GV80, pleasantly surprised. It's very, very comfortable. The power is smooth. You do have paddle shifters if you're the type of person that does enjoy those sort of things. And this is not exactly a performance sports car. It's designed to be an affordable luxury vehicle, and I think it does that very, very well. You have adaptive cruise control for like those long road trips. That'll definitely make it easier, so you don't have to worry about who's in front of you and all that kind of stuff. The one thing I will say is that the controller for the screen is not super useful. And I said that it was wireless Apple CarPlay. It is wired Apple CarPlay. So Android Auto is also available, so you do have both of those, but I did misspeak there and wanted to correct myself. A lot of the day-to-day controls are located right here on the steering wheel. If you're wanting to change a radio station or anything like that, you can do it very easily, and you do have a digital gauge cluster mixed with a like an old school dial type cluster too, which does feel really nice as more and more companies are moving away from that. And then whenever you activate your turn signal, it'll actually show you down on the small little screen what's going on so that you don't hit a curb, and you can make sure that you're following the correct patterns whenever you're leaving and exiting kind of turning areas and that kind of stuff. The sound system is top notch, and you've got a lot of other like little creature comforts on the inside of the car. You know, like I was mentioning, the heated and ventilated seats are quite nice, and then also the way that you adjust the fan settings in the car is just really nice. I like the wood style controls on all of the surfaces. It feels a little bit plasticky, but not terrible. And then the door cards are all made out of leather, and it's just soft touch. Any luxury vehicle should have a soft headliner, which this does have, and then it should also have leather on all of those surfaces that you frequently touch. That's what makes it feel like you're driving something premium and not like you're driving an econo box, is because there's like those extra features that are there. Outside of the controller, which is a little bit hard to use, my fingers are kind of slipping on it, the screen does look absolutely beautiful with that 27-inch screen. It's just a little bit hard to use to get exactly where you want, but you do have Sirius XM. You can throw it into valet mode so that if you're having somebody else drive your vehicle, they're not going to be able to take it and rip it around super fast through a parking lot. But, you know, climate control system and the infotainment system on this car just works exactly as it should. And while 5.6 second 0 to 60 time isn't super fast, it's not slow either. Transmission is responsive, and it just feels like a great car. The one thing that I have heard about this is that it's just like really asking to be an EV, but I think that it's fine the way that it is. There is a 4-cylinder version of this car that produces 304 horsepower, but I don't love overcharged 4-cylinder vehicles. Even though it does get better fuel economy, I just think that for long-term reliability, it's just probably not the best idea to be pushing that much power out of a 4-cylinder engine. You know, 375 out of a 6-cylinder isn't that bad. However, that does come with the caveat of, you know, getting in that like 18 to 24 miles per gallon range, versus the 4-cylinder gets a lot better in like the 22 to 28 miles per gallon range. But that's not too big of a deal, and that's pretty much the industry standard for a vehicle of this size. You know, X5, X7, they get pretty much the exact same gas mileage as this does, if not a little bit better, but I think that's just due to just a slightly better transmission and just better programming of our cars. We also have a mild hybrid system that we enact on our vehicles, versus, I don't know if this car necessarily has that same system available. But for the money, you know, $55,000 for a pre-owned Genesis GV80 with 44,000 miles on it, I think that's a pretty good deal. The quality is really nice, and the car just drives super well. The shifter being this little kind of dial type deal is a little bit strange, but it works well. And then the camera that gets all 4 angles of the vehicle whenever you're backing up works really well, and it looks like it's in pretty high resolution. It looks like it's probably 1080p. I think my favorite part of this car is honestly this 27-inch touchscreen. It works well, it's very responsive. I just wish that it had a better interface than what it does, but that's not too bad. You can't fault it too much. But I would buy one of these. This is a great car. if you guys are curious in other vehicles that would kind of compare in this segment, I did a review on a Mazda CX-90 a couple months ago. I'll link that in the description below, as well as a BMW X550e, which has a lot more power than this, air ride suspension, and it's kind of like that next step up. But if you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it down below, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Last thing I did want to touch on is this car does have different drive modes. Whenever you switch it into sport mode, the adaptive gauge cluster does switch into this kind of like cool pulse look. And the different drive modes obviously have different characteristics. The car builds boosts a little bit faster, and it just feels a little bit more responsive in sport over your comfort mode. And then you have your snow mode and your eco mode, which obviously snow mode is going to give you a little bit better traction and it's going to ease into the power a little bit more. Eco mode is going to be more efficient for highway and city driving, like if you're stuck in stop and go traffic or if you're on a long road trip, definitely would recommend using it at that point. And then comfort mode is just like any other car that's not being programmed. It's just going to be very balanced between both power and efficiency, and it's just going to be good at being a car. But yeah, that's another look at the turn signal view whenever you're going into a corner. And yeah, thank you guys for watching today's video. I'll talk to you later.